All right, so I just got back from the Better Way conference. I thought it was amazing. Wait till the end to hear my biggest takeaway from the event. So I just got back from the Better Way conference. There were so many amazing, young, diverse people killing it. Like dudes making real money, millions of dollars, 21 years old, 18 years old. I mean, majority of people were under 30. And that is, you aren't really put in situations like that to see that and then be pushed by a 21-year-old who made $6 million last year. And you're like, oh wow, like it's time to pick my shit up. At the Better Way conference, there were a ton of speakers, and this was really diverse as far as business goes. It wasn't just, like we all started off in wholesaling, I want to say, and then everybody's somewhat diversified and gone down different avenues. And so there was a dude talking about launch your hustle. And he's making millions of dollars off of selling like $50 courses, which I thought was really cool. Levi spoke about piggy banking. So this is a really, really cool thing you can learn how to improve your credit. We'll make this into a short. Piggyback on different accounts to increase your credit. So you just say, hey, make me an authorized user on your account if they have really good credit. Don't get access to any of their cards, just have you on there. That automatically boosts your credit score. That's something I didn't know. I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. That'll help out a lot of people, because I know at the beginning I destroyed my credit and I've had to pay people to fucking fix it. Don't ruin your credit. A dude named Neno, I really resented with this guy, because this guy named Neno was a D1 baseball player, and then his last game of his senior year he threw out his shoulder and all of his dreams went to the wayside, sounding something similar to my high school football career and me having a massive mental breakdown to where I snapped my ankle in half and tore my hamstring. I had a personal massive mental breakdown thinking I had no value in the world. I bounced back from that. I go to college, I hurt my neck, I get a sports hernia my senior year, and everything kind of just goes to the wayside to where like you really didn't, there was not a whole lot of opportunities of like hype going into the next phase of that football career, making the NFL. And he just talked about failing more and bouncing back from your failures. And I'll create a different video about this, but like I have gotten scared to fail, and like it's hard to recognize this as you get further and further in business. But then like, so you get so comfortable in your niche of what you're doing that you get afraid of learning something new. And this was just for me, right? To where I just learned wholesale and real estate stuff, and then now we're dabbling into the business side and online marketing side and throwing events. And all of that, like doing that is pretty fucking wild, because you're going through and learning a brand new skill, and you're diving into an arena to where you have no credibility and no intellect in that space, and you're competing against people who've been doing it for 10 years plus, like in all reality. And then you gotta go out and you gotta get your face kicked in and fail even more than you are already failing in regular business. And this is just the endless cycle of what you are doing in business. Even if I'd have stayed in wholesale, I'm still having to, and we're still in wholesale, but like scaled that company the way I wanted it to, I'd still be failing every day learning a new skill or a new talent that I can implement to help that company grow or help me grow. And so don't be afraid to fail. And that was one thing he was talking about, is don't be afraid to fail, and then bounce back from your failures. Every time you fail, pop a champagne bottle and keep going, because you just learned a new lesson. And one thing I want to get better at is public speaking. And I thought he was the best public speaker besides a dude named Daniel G, and I'll go over him because he really captured the stage. One of my goals this year was to speak on like 5 stages. I've got 3 down. And so I thought he talked like a preacher, right? And he killed it, and he had everybody just by the balls, and everyone was eating out of his hands, to where I learned a lot from his public speaking. And the next dude who spoke was a dude named Daniel G, this 5'5" little dude who probably did 8 lines of coke before he came out and spoke to the group. And this guy was so fucking good that he was speaking. They made us break for lunch, and everybody's like, hey, no, I don't want to break for lunch, we're still going. And they made us break for lunch, and then he's like, all right, I'll be back, and we'll do another 30 minutes afterwards. And after lunch, he spoke again because everybody wanted to speak again. Like, he had that much control of the room, and he was spitting that much hot fire with his sales game. And you, a phrase that I hear Alex Hormozy say all the time is you very often, very few times do you really need to learn new things. You really just need to be reminded of the same thing. And when I say that, Daniel G was talking about follow up, and he was like, "Hey, follow up is the name of the game." What's up, my guy? Huh? Want to have some of those? You want to say hi to the camera?
Hi.
You gotta come over here.
Hi.
More. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Hi. Love you, my guy.
Wings.
Sweet dreams? Okay. Alright, back to Daniel G. The next thing here is talking about is know your numbers more. Break down the defense stage, so you just want to pattern interrupt, right? And he talked about, this was an amazing example. He was wearing Tom Ford cologne going into a boutique or like a perfume store. The dude who smelt it knew it was Tom Ford and started rapping like Jay-Z or Drake song about Tom Ford, or like Tuscan leather. And it was like, bro, I was like, this dude cleaned out all my pockets because he completely disrupted the pattern. Also, where's the client get to the magic wand example? Yeah, magic wand example is really good. Look that up. Just Google magic wand sales example. And then for closing, a good closing, I was like, hey, so would you want to use my help? And then you're helping them get the decision, being more empathetic. Using a takeaway with introverted customers. And this is one thing we do a lot if someone's not really engaged. I will just be like, hey, it honestly doesn't sound like it's a good fit at this time. You're not really engaging me that much, which is 100% okay, dude. Just the last thing I want to do is waste your time. If that's the case, man, we can just come back to it in another 6 months, 3 months or so and see if it's a good fit. And you use that takeaway, and if they leave, that's because like they weren't interested, you save yourself time, or they're gonna re-engage with you. And I love this one. We need to do this more in everything that we do. Creating another sense of urgency in always talking about we're busy, we're like I'm melting, I got so much shit going on, like I don't know if like we can't get you in, like you're gonna lose your spot. To where you create that type of urgency in everything that you're doing. And then I really liked with what he did, to where he like picks up the phone, like, hey, sorry, I just got off a call with another client, they're signing up, we only got like 2 spots left. And like still you gotta create that urgency in the sales call. It's like if you want in, cool, here's how it's gonna go, then you set the stage for the sales call. And then another thing that I will do moving forward, and you guys are all know by now if you're following me, I'm all about being a guru and really charging for education, because it's another income stream for me and I can provide a lot of value, is having a upsell into another event from your feeder event. And so one thing that like the Better Way conference, they upsold into, Daniel G upsold into a event in Miami that was savage. He had an amazing offer. And then Levi and Jay upsold into their mastermind and they killed it. And then the next person who spoke was Chris Bruce. Before that. My last word for Daniel G that I wrote, this dude is fucking insane, because he was just about energy and he absolutely crushed the stage. And then Chris Bruce, who was my first mentor in real estate, paid mentor, Alan, who I worked for at the beginning, and then I had Chris Bruce. And Chris Bruce he's one of the best online marketers that I know, and obviously I know because like I paid him money because I saw his course, and I think I put $3,000 on a credit card to buy his course to learn something it helped me. But he's really about having an irresistible offer, creating a sales funnel, and creating a challenge as a lead magnet. So a lot of people use PDFs or videos. He was like, come up with a new challenge that you can use as a lead magnet to get people to sign up for, and then get them engaged with your community, and that will really help it grow, and that'll get you a lot more attraction. And just that paid for my travel and events alone, just with that one phrase. So that's what I learned from the Better Way conference. Number 1, I need to release more courses. Number 2, create more urgency in my sales processes. Number 3, the piggyback banking method. Number 4, fail more often and pop the champagne bottle more when we're failing. And then number 5 was, what was it? create a challenge for everyone in our community as a league beggar. Those are my biggest takeaways so far. It was an amazing event. If you guys have any questions about whatever we're doing, please reach out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.